are not gonna believe this.
Lone Eagle Peak, 11,900 feet of ancient rock rising to an impossible razor-sharp spire in the middle of an epic wilderness. Beneath it, a remote alpine lake which creates the world's most perfect reflection. It's one of the most difficult places in America to get to, and simultaneously one of the most difficult places to photograph. But it's like the old saying goes, if it were easy, everybody would do it.
Welcome to the Indian Peaks Wilderness. This is definitely one of the most remote destinations in all of Colorado, and it's capitalized by its signature mountain, Lone Eagle Peak, which, in my opinion, is one of the most spectacular destinations in all of North America. Here's why.
Hang on, before we get started, let's back up a bit. Much better. Welcome to Colorado, the 38th territory to join the United States and home to the legendary Rocky Mountains. Many of the great pioneers, mountain men, cowboys, and outlaws made their marks on history here. And if you like the great outdoors, this is America's playground. People have been photographing the Rocky Mountains for over 100 years, and we just can't seem to get enough of them. Many of these destinations are quite well known in the photography world, and others, like the place we're about to visit, are a little more obscure. Lone Eagle Peak is situated in the Indian Peaks Wilderness, just west of Rocky Mountain National Park. And as much as I would love to deliver a mouth-watering buffet of delicious aerial cinematography of this epic landscape, sadly, flying machines are strictly forbidden. In fact, drone photography is being systematically shut down all across the nation. But that's a story for another day. Thus, with our cameras planted firmly on the ground, we begin the march into an untamed wilderness, where great treasures await those brave enough to set upon the trail. The path which leads to Lone Eagle is just over 7 miles long. Naturally, this is no big deal considering that all landscape photographers are elite athletes who crush triathlons for breakfast while munching on spinach leaves. But then there's me, puffing away, steadily losing the all-out battle royale with our old friend Gravity, the heavyweight champion of the universe. Fortunately, the spring meltdown is particularly prolific this year. With record winter snowfalls now behind us, the wilderness areas of Colorado are now saturated with roaring waterfalls and cascading creeks. This playful combination of water and gravity make for nice companions on the long trip, and give the experience an extra boost of natural beauty. Once gravity is done flattening every disc in your spine, the hike is finally over. Sure, you're 2 inches shorter than when you started, but it's time to lick our wounds, pitch camp, and, hopefully, reap the rewards. It's not every day that one wakes up to such an epic destination. If ever you were looking for a landscape to make yourself feel small and humble, this might be a good place to start. Our desire to capture the true magic of this location takes us, quite naturally, to the water's edge. This is Mirror Lake. It is the first of 2 alpine lakes which reside beneath the mighty Eagle, and it makes for a particularly nice place to meet the day. As the sun rises, not a whisper can be heard across the land, and the great Rocky Mountains are flipped upside down in a serene reflection that hardly seems capable of being accountable to reality. Moving farther up the mountain, we encounter the next destination on our journey, Crater Lake. This body of water creates a vast open space, easily large enough to contain an entire city. And when a void of this magnitude spans across the wilderness, it has a tendency to churn up its own weather patterns. Prevailing winds swoop down from high above the mountains, turning this body of water into a tempest of angry waves. Drastically different from the mirror calm of its little brother just a mile down the trail, Crater Lake is notoriously temperamental. It remains far too wild for any photographer seeking that coveted reflection. Every square inch of the lake looks as if it's being assaulted by furious piranhas during a feeding frenzy. You can pretty much forget about calm conditions. Don't even take your camera out of the bag.
Well, I will admit, I never in a million years thought I would have seen an actual reflection on Crater Lake. Normally it's this gigantic tempest of voracious waves and wind, and lo and behold, here we are first thing in the morning, Crater Lake. Perfect mirror. Who would have thought?
And then Mother Nature steps in, reminding us once again that she is not to be underestimated. Sometimes even the most volatile personalities have been known to make rather abrupt mood swings. I'm not entirely sure what strange collection of elements had to conspire to bring about this rare moment of calm, but as fate would have it, the final morning of our expedition was met with a very uncharacteristic moment of serenity. The Leviathan, which normally inhabits this colossal body of water, took the morning off to sleep in, leaving us with yet another magical reflection. I honestly could not believe my eyes. I suppose it's a good thing I brought my camera. Okay, by now, I know what you're thinking. What about magic hour? Camping right in the heart of such an epic destination should give you access to breathtaking sunrises and sunsets, yes? Well, yes, of course. There's only just one little caveat. For all of its epic beauty, the Lone Eagle does present one compositional problem, which has been staring me in the face like a one-eyed pirate, one who left the ocean to go live in a tree. Anyway, these mountains are uniquely situated so that magic hour sunlight never actually lights up the entire range all at once. At sunrise, the western rim turns bright crimson, leaving the eastern rim a dull gray. At sunset, the eastern rim glows brightly, leaving the western rim a dull gray. If only the entire range could be seen catching fire all at once. Unfortunately, this is a geographic impossibility. Unless, of course, you happen to have a time machine. Wait a second. Do we have a time machine? Okay, this isn't exactly a flux capacitor-enabled DeLorean hitting 88 miles per hour, but bear with me for a second. Meet Michael Weselli. He's a German photographer who pioneered a very specialized long exposure technique. And when I say long exposure, I'm talking really long. Weselli has created images which are exposed for up to 1, 2, even 3 years. The resulting photographs show a haunting yet beautiful representation of time. Everything which happened over the course of the year can be seen overlapping in a single image. The ghosts of old buildings which have been torn down appear as translucent visions of the past. Ethereal networks of scaffolding are erected and taken down, leaving geometric traces of their steel skeletons. And the year-long path of the sun can be seen creating a terrace of streaks across the sky as the seasons change. Oh, sweet history, I knew you'd have a solution hiding back there somewhere. So, what can we learn from this unique little nugget of photographic witchcraft? Well, if Weselli can make an exposure which lasts for over a year, what's to stop us from making an exposure that lasts for a single day? All we really need to do is stake out a good location, pray for the ideal conditions, make sure the tripod legs fit in the same 3 holes after 15 hours, and use a little good old-fashioned imagination. The resulting image gives us that beautiful crimson ring of peaks which surround the lake on all sides. The mighty Lone Eagle spreads her fiery wings, and a day in the life of this epic mountain range is finally revealed. Our little blue planet is home to all kinds of amazing destinations, and I've had the privilege to produce photographic artwork for homes and businesses all across the nation. If you are interested in acquiring your own little piece of Mother Nature, every image which appears in this episode can be purchased from my website. So be sure to check out the link in the show notes below, and I look forward to providing your next fine art photograph.
As always, friends, thank you so much for joining us. If you had fun on our little adventure today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of cool new adventures coming up, and I can't wait to take you along. In the meantime, stay sharp, and always remember, the camera will take you places you never imagined. Lucky jacket, one take.
All right, you know you're in trouble when the trail literally becomes a waterfall.